There's man, his origin and nature. This is what at times I say it is difficult to really discuss this. Because when you discuss this kind of thing, where you have religious fanatics, there is some issues. Some say that man was created by God. Some of the opinion that man evolved. So you can take any of the two depending on your belief system. If you are too religious, you take the other one. If you are not, you take the other one. What matters is that the two of them matter. The origin of man is a mysterious affair. Some of the believe that God created the world. Others believe that man came into existence through what is called evolution. Either of these can stand depending on how you present your argument and your belief system. The two of them can stand. So if you are, as I've said, if you're highly religious, go for creationism. If you are not, go for evolutionism. You should have heard about the cell and how this micro component of the body is what keeps man alive. Yes. The cell also determines our progress in life because this relates to evolutionism, and evolution relates to what we call the Big Bang Theory. Let's move on. The origin of man. The knowledge of metaphysics tells us that nothing exists out of nothing. Therefore, for anything to exist, it must take off from something, which Aristotle called the unmoved mover. Thus, there is a being who forms other being. Aristotle really believed in the unmoved mover, but he was a scientist. If this is so, then man must have come from somewhere. It is this somewhereness which boggles the minds of both philosophers and scientists that we wish to give an insight. This somewhereness, where has man come from? Has he come from God? Or did he just emerge? Let's move on. Theological basis of man's soul. Theology is the study of the science of God, vis-a-vis the relationship between God and man. There are two levels of relationship. Here, two levels of relationship call for emphasis. Theology studies is a rational approach to religion. Does God exist? Does he not exist? In philosophy, we know that we treat certain things, one of which is the existence of God. These are arguments that ranged in the medieval period. Issues that were raised by somebody like St. Thomas Aquinas, somebody like St. Augustine, Dos Scotus, and so on and so forth. So, as well as said, there are two levels of relationship here. One is vertical relationship, which is the relationship between two unequal parties. Example, the relationship that exists between God and man. They are unequal. That's why it is called vertical relationship. The other one is horizontal, that involves two parties of equal ranking. Examples are man and his fellow man, man and his wife, daughter and son, friend and friend, lecturer and students. That is you and I now, for instance. The brother and sister, bachelor and spinster. That is horizontal relationship. Relationship that exists between two people of equal ranking. Then, the nature of man. The study of man's nature defies understanding. Without reference to the limits of human psychology, of which man is an integral part. Man is, to some extent, we may not be able to differentiate between, some of you may not be able to differentiate between man as a psychological being and man as a psychical being. Here, we are talking of man as a psychological being. So, nor can any meaningful understanding of him provide realizable, nor can any meaningful understanding of him prove realizable without an organic view of man. For us to understand man properly, we have to see him as his entire being, the two sides of him, the dualistic nature of man, or the dual nature of man. That's man as material, man as matter, man as spirit, man as soul. That's the only time that we can understand him. And that's why we say it must have both metaphysical and empirical aspects to adequately address the composite nature that man possesses. It must be remembered, however, that the dualism of body and soul did not originate with Plato. It was there before Plato. Primitive cultures had the same belief and rituals. They also discussed the soul's immortality. Of course, Plato was the first person to really advance a processed nature of the soul when he was in prison. He was about to be killed. And by the night, when he had taken the drug, the substance that would really lead to his death, he began to discuss the immortality of the soul. That's key. Then let's move on. Then psychologically, we look at feudal theory. Sigmund Freud used his theory to explain the nature of man better. And I think let's begin from him, the feudal theory. Sigmund Freud is widely known as a psychoanalyst. His theory on the Oedipus and the electoral complexes earned him fame in academic sector. We shall look at these two. One, the Oedipus complex anchors on a son's desire to have intercourse with his mother, but perceived his father as an obstacle to this move. In order to drive home his amorous desire, he killed his father. This is natural. When you discover that, when you look around, you discover that some people really have that natural desire to have their mother. It's natural, it's psychological. But our cultures and traditions and laws try to make sure that some of these desires are subdued. Then the electoral complex, on the other hand, points to the same lust. This time the daughter desired the father, but considered the mother a threat to her move. She quickly hatched a plan and got her eliminated. Move on. The children, upon realizing their guilt, discovered the gruesome murder of their parents, felt remorse and sought for ways of pacifying their slain parents. These things can happen. But it may not go to this extent, but we know some people have some of these things in mind. These are psychological issues. This, from feudal point of view, led to the origin of religion. But that's not why we're here. The position assumed here is not to postulate the origin of religion, but to enunciate how uncontrolled emotions can wrought havoc in human situations. That's why we're here. This is part of man's nature, pure. That's part of man's nature. Let's move on. Freud, that's Sigmund Freud, posited that man's reaction to external stimuli is determined by three intervening variables. The first one is the id, the primitive instinct, or the man. This is the instinct that really makes man do certain things that are disastrous. For instance, having sex, sexual intercourse, having that moral desire for sex with the mother or with the sister, then or with anybody. Then the second one is the ego. That is the self-esteem and image enhancing factor. A hold me, you are talking to me, a hold me, then begin to ask, a hold me, who are you? Then how can somebody at my level do this or that? These are some of those things that really come here. The ego. Ego in man that makes man proud. Then you have the super ego, the moral conscience. This is one that really subdues both the ego and the id. These variables are present in any man, young or old, educated or uneducated. Let's move on. Then self-field. There is one thing I want us to see here, because from the evolutionist point of view, you discover that science has given us a kind of glimpse into what the self is all about. Let me put it bluntly. Man dies every 30 minutes. A human being dies every 30 minutes. By that I mean that man sheds off cells every 30 minutes. So we begin to ask now, when these cells are shedded off, or are shed off, you see new cells come up. Basic question now is, these new cells that come up to form the new man, do you see the old man retaining the qualities, being the same person in new, wearing the same new cells? That is the point. Are these two men now, are they different or are they the same thing? So it's a very big issue. So cell theory, the main postulation of the first theory postulations of the same theory are that one, is the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. All living things are either composed of one cell or many cells. All cells have similar physical and chemical features. New cells are formed from the already existing ones through cell division. These new cells, science has told us that cells regenerate, they die, and